Hey, so I want to open with something I don't usually say. I've made expensive mistakes in this space, not because I was careless, but because I was moving faster than my process could keep up with. And that experience is actually what pushed me toward a more systematic approach to everything I test now, specifically in AI automated trading, which is where most of my focus has been sitting for the past several months. Algorithmic arbitrage, bot infrastructure, automated execution systems. I've been going through all of it with a level of scrutiny that I didn't have early on. So today, I want to walk you through what a properly functioning AI setup actually looks like when everything is built the way it should be, the real operational flow. So the first thing staring at me is trading pair, and the breadth of this list is a direct result of the system architecture.
This setup is running concurrently across 16 plus different exchanges, which is what creates this range of available assets. I'm choosing Solana today, high liquidity, meaningful price variance across exchanges, and good conditions for demonstrating mechanics. Okay, I'm clicking into live mode, and now the receiving address field comes up. Jumping over to my app to grab that. Okay, copying it, back on the platform, dropping it into this field right here. Good. Okay, next is capital allocation. This is just the working capital I'm committing to this session, nothing complicated. Going with right around that figure. That works for what I'm doing today. And risk level is directly below, and I want to address this properly because it tends to get glossed over. This setting isn't just an aggression dial, it's defining the bot's execution discipline, specifically how much price uncertainty it's prepared to accept before it decides a trade doesn't meet its threshold. I'm positioning mine at this set, engaged enough to generate meaningful activity.
Good. Last configuration is strategy, the specific operational logic the AI locks into for this session, the framework it applies when scanning for pricing inefficiencies across exchanges. Okay, everything looks solid. Moving next. Funding screen is up. Here I've got a couple of tokens available and I choose one of those directly. No prep work needed. The platform converts it automatically on their end before the bot touches anything. Okay, now launching it, and good, it's running. Dashboard is right here, trades building, win rate tracking, average spread showing, chart mapping the session in real time, and the interface stays clean and readable despite how much is actually running underneath it. Now it's just we step back and let it work for a few minutes. Okay, so I've stopped the session, and this screen is the complete record, session duration, total steps that executed, which strategy was active throughout, win rate, and the final number with the platform commission already deducted from it. That final number is what the whole thing was building toward. Okay, tapping withdraw now, and just letting that process. A few minutes to settle. So let me cover something that I think is actually worth understanding properly.
So before I get into the practical side of things, I want to make the underlying mechanics genuinely clear because most people skim past this part and I think that's a mistake. What this bot is doing is tracking the price of the same asset across supported exchanges simultaneously in real time every second it's active. And the moment it detects a pricing discrepancy, that same asset sitting at different levels across two different markets, it executes both sides of that position almost instantaneously. The margin between those two prices, however narrow, is the return. And why this specifically requires AI comes down to a timing problem that human execution cannot solve. These windows exist for milliseconds, sometimes considerably less. No manual process captures them at any meaningful frequency. The system eliminates reaction time as a constraint entirely. That's the core of why the technology produces results that manual trading in this context simply can't replicate.
Okay, so from enough first-hand exposure to have developed a real process around this, here's what I actually go through when I'm evaluating something new. First thing I do is just use the product properly, not a quick scroll through the interface. I mean, actually sitting with it, going through every section, every setting, every piece of functionality. Because a platform that's been built with genuine intention shows that immediately. The navigation makes sense, the logic flows between sections, nothing feels assembled to look functional without actually being functional. And when something is built to take your money and disappear, that coherence just isn't there. We can feel the gaps even before you can articulate exactly where they are. Second thing is I run the core functionality multiple times under deliberately different conditions. Not once, many times. Because a single successful session proves almost nothing. What I'm actually looking for is consistency across repeated cycles with changing variables. And that repeated functional testing is where most platforms either hold up or start quietly revealing their actual construction. Because you can engineer a convincing first impression, you genuinely cannot fake consistent performance without the infrastructure to actually back it up. And so here's where I want to land with this concretely. I've been running this platform through exactly that process for several weeks now, over 30 sessions, deliberately rotated the settings and capital amounts each time to create different conditions, rather than repeating the same setup. Because what I'm measuring is behavioral consistency when the variables shift, not peak performance when everything is configured favorably. And every time I've changed the conditions, the platform has responded correctly. That's the only input worth acting on. And that's everything I've got today. Appreciate you watching. Peace.